Hey, Coach. Um,
Hey, Trey.
I was curious about your off season as you head into spring football. Are there any specific players that stand out to you making big jumps, either weight room, any of that type of stuff?
We really have had, like, I'm not sitting here and say we had a bad off season, so everybody's going to say that they've had a good off season, but we have done a nice job of, there were some specific weights that we needed to get to. I think every one of our scholarship O linemen are, but one, I think, are 300 pounds and above. Those were some things that we wanted to get accomplished. Need to take a few pounds off of some guys, add to some guys strength wise. But, Trey, to answer your question, I think we ended up really, really happy with the guys that came in early, the freshman group. I think it's going to be a pretty good group there, and really pleased with their work ethic and their attitude and things of that nature. We probably found some more leaders. When you talk about groups, the DBs were and still are probably, you know, leading the team in work ethic, things of that nature. But the wide receivers now have kind of closed that gap with them. Wide receivers will work the O line and all that. But I've been really pleased with the wide receiver group, the way they work, and D lines coming along. They're all working really hard, and the 8 weeks that we had, I think we were pretty much COVID free. It's still it's still out there, obviously, but I thought Jamil Walker and his staff did a really good job with them. But I didn't get into specific players, I guess, Trey. But I was real pleased with what happened the last 8 weeks.
Jason?
Hey, Coach, when you look at the last year, the whirlwind, how do you kind of sum that up? No spring, getting the season in. Now you're finally going to get your first spring at Arkansas. And then the other part of that is recruiting, how you guys have handled recruiting, how the recruits have handled that recruiting throughout the last year as we kind of hit that year mark.
Yeah, I think we've had four. I may have been five, but I think we've had four recruiting weekends, what we might call recruiting weekends. We may do it a little bit different than other teams or whatever, but I've really liked the way that's gone. Uh, getting about 50 kids that we've offered, been able to visit with them. And then, the year itself, I wish right now that, like everybody does, that COVID was not a factor in your team and in practice and in health and in the world, but it still is. And so it's certainly uh, affecting us still to this date. But last year it was, you know, COVID. It's still there, not quite like it was, simply because we've had several kids that have had it. But it was a world. The great thing is I felt like, we got it right in our new hires, and the funnest time is with the coaching staff. It's been a lot of fun and being with our players, but really, when you look back at it, it's been a long year, to get to this point when you really back at it, because March 12th is when it kind of all went away last year, or
Tom?
started, however you want to look at it.
Tom?
Hey, Sam, I just wanted to get your thoughts on kind of the achievement goals that you have for spring practice, what all you want to get done, and then tailoring what you want to do offensively to your top candidates at quarterback. Is that something Kendall will do instead of just general installation, maybe tailoring a little?
Um, there's so many battles, every spring, every year there'll be battles in spring ball, and that's the fun part of it. You can go out there, you can be a little more physical in the spring, where you can find out about kids a little faster than, getting them ready for a game. You're trying to see what the competition level is like in spring. So you can do a lot of different drills, a lot of a little more physicality, things of that nature to find out. So I'm really excited. There's basically, and you guys know where there might be a little more separation in players than others, but there's a lot of positions up for, somebody told me we have 20 returners coming back, starters. There's a lot of battles in those 20. And so that's really exciting. And as far as, when I envisioned Kendall's offense and watched it on tape before he was hired, I think whom we have at quarterback right now is probably tailored to his offense a little bit more even than what Felipe was, because Felipe was what I'm going to call a surprising runner. He ran better than what I thought he would. And these other guys are certainly capable of being a running back as well. So they all can throw or they wouldn't be here. But so I think it'll be more of maybe Kendall putting in everything in his offense that he can versus some of the things that he may not have had because of Felipe and our depth chart.
Nate.
Just what do you look for as far as in improving the pass rush this spring, and kind of where are you in that aspect?
Well, I think we're going to widen them out a little bit more. I think we're going to try to, get them out of some inside eyes on those tackles a little bit more, and at least give one of them, not both of them, the opportunity to rush the edge. Certainly, we've got to find those guys. So, I think we're going to have to bring 5 at times. We set back and rush 3. I think we're going to have to change up what we do on first down at times. We've got to put a team in a hole, and we didn't do that on a consistent basis last year. And that was one of our self scouts that we found out. But we've got to find those pass rush. They've been working extremely hard, and we should have we've got guys on the team that can rush the passer. We just got to give them a little bit better of a chance and widen them out a little bit and let them go one-on-one with tackles instead of getting chip help from the guards and all those things. Just put ourselves a little bit better chance of one-on-ones and certainly rush 5, maybe 6. But in order to do that, we've got to get better at man coverage as well.
Also, Jonathan Marshall was such a key for you last year. Who are you looking at as far as filling his shoes?
Everybody is what we're looking at. I don't know. At the nose right now, it's Carter and Nichols and Marcus Miller is where we're playing those guys right there. Certainly, we have opportunities to move forward in the transfer market as well. So we'll kind of figure that out as it goes. But we have who we have right now, and they've got to get better, and they're working hard towards doing that.
Hutch.
Yes, Sam. What's the quarterback competition really going to look like this spring? Are KJ and Malik kind of 1A and 1B with equal reps, or does KJ maybe have a little bit of an edge because of his experience?
Well, we're going to 2-spot everything. In other words, we're going to have 2 fields going because we have numbers. And so Malik right now will be on the 2 field, and we're to start out, we're going to go 1s and freshmen, 2s and 3s, and he'll be down there getting as many reps and the same reps as what KJ would. But right now, KJ's our starter, and we certainly anticipate a really nice battle. And all that's going to do is make you better, and the kids understand it, and it'll make KJ better. It'll make Malik better. It'll make Coley, Renfro, whomever, John Stevens. It'll make everybody better.
Clay.
Coach, who do you have that maybe is limited a little bit starting out? I know you had some off-season cleanup surgeries. Is
Yeah.
everybody full go, or you gotta kind of hold some guys?
I think we had 4 that were limited. Cortland Jackson still limited. Colin Sutherland still limited. Davion Warren, we'll be very, very slow with him, and Levi Draper. You know, Levi had some shoulder surgeries, and so he's still going to be a little bit limited there. And after that, you know, besides, you know, nagging injury here and there, I think we'll have our full roster.
Dudley.
Coach, obviously you have a lot of early enrollees, and a few of them are older, like Daryl Wilson and Jalen Williams and Trent Gordon. But what's the challenges and maybe the positives of those guys being in here early and getting to go through this spring practice?
I think, you know, I used to think it was for spring and for all this, but we've got a team now that can teach you how to work. And I mean, if you walk into our DB group right now and you're not willing to work, you're going to stick out. And I think that's how to get, how to be a blue collar team, the work ethic we have, the attitude that we have right now. I think those are the keys, like for the D line, like Jalen and Trent and those guys that came in. I think just learning how we do things here is very beneficial. Certainly spring ball is going to benefit them as well. But I think just who we are and how we approach our day, I think is a big deal for those young kids and for the transfers to come in and learn.
Jacob.
Sam, going into year 2 for you personally, how much more of a comfort level is it to you know, already have that year down and have all these players now that you know, are returning and know the system?
Well, I know everybody on the team. You know, that's a positive. You asked me a question. My biggest fear last year is you guys are going to ask me about somebody I have no clue who he was, you know. But you were very kind and didn't do that. But no, I think it's you know more about them. In other words, let's say this. A year ago, we were guessing about what position to put a kid. And now we had a lengthy meeting about, hey, is this guy really, is he our 5th DB? Is he our 6th DB? Well, then I don't know that we can keep him just in one spot. Let's go pick on that guy to see if he can beat him out. Let's pick on that guy to see if he can beat him out. And so I think we've learned that last year, because of COVID, injuries, opt-out, we end up using different kids a lot at the game. And we were ready for that because of the way that we practiced and we two-spotted and we moved kids. Every kid needs to, has the right to start. But I think this year it's just better because we know what they are at such and such position. Let's look at them somewhere else and certainly see if they could help us or get on the field faster at another position. So that's kind of been something we've talked about that we're excited to see with a few kids.
Nikki.
Hey, Coach, with the running backs that you have in your room, do you anticipate it being a running back by committee type situation? And then with the run pass balance from last year, did you like, you know, how that was? Do you want it to shift in either direction in the season?
Well, first of all, with the running backs, we're trying to find the guy. You know, obviously, we were talking about it the other day. We have a lot of kids that are very similar. You know, with Oglesby and Traylon and TJ. You know, they're all smaller, quick, shifty, fast guys. We need to find a big back. You know, and so we have. Move Rocket Sanders to running back. And, of course, Dominique's in there as well. But because of the way we're doing it, with Javion Hunt come in, and because of the way we're doing it, I think they're going to get plenty of reps, and we'll be able to find it. But we're looking for that. We're looking for that guy. And then if we can't find that guy, a lot of times, Nikki, if you have 3 or 4 good ones, you don't have one good one. So we're trying to look for that guy. And obviously Smith has earned that spot to this point. And and we're going to let him go and see if he can continue to improve on what he's done this far. I don't know. You had another question, I thought, but.
Yeah, the run pass split.
Oh yeah, to be honest with you, I sure would like to. We're on 3rd and short. We threw the ball more than what we would like to. I believe that our first down of getting 4 yards or more, turn around and hand the ball off is big for us. I think we played behind the chains too much last year, and we weren't confident. Evidently, we weren't confident enough in our kids that we could turn around and hand the ball off on 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 3 and get the first down. So I don't know about percentages. I think they'll go up because we've got to come out of spring ball with the ability to think that we can run the football. And then after that, and that could be a quarterback run as well. But I think we have to do a better job of running the football. And that takes us out of those 3rd down situations where we either didn't protect it well enough, we didn't find the open receiver, or we couldn't get open, one or the other. Sacks have a lot to do with a lot of people, but we've got to trim that number down as well. And how you do it is winning first down, run or pass. But I think we have to certainly do a better job percentage-wise when we hand the ball off.
Scotty.
Hey, Coach, my question was about running backs too. What did they show you, maybe work-wise, development-wise, in training lately and since the season ended?
Yeah, I think they all they're getting bigger. The ones that are getting big, we want to dominate to get smaller, lose a little weight. But they've got a good work ethic, including Javion Hunt, who came in, at Christmas or in January. But I like Oglesby. I liked Oglesby before he got hurt. He got hurt in that first scrimmage, and he's come back strong. We're figuring all that stuff out between track and us and all those things in the spring. But I like him. I like Sanders a lot. Rocket Sanders. Now, he never carried the ball, and he's never got tackled, never got hit here yet. So we've got to find that out here, and we will pretty fast. But I like Sanders back there because he's a big back that's a very physical guy. So TJ Hammond, we found out, was much more productive than, in our self-scout. When he had the ball in his hands, he was very productive later on in the season. And so we got to get the ball to him a little bit.
All right, we got time for a few more. Let me know if you've got more in the chat. Trey.
Yeah, Coach, you talked about some position changes at running back with TJ and Rocket. I was curious if there were any other, whether it's a major change, tight end to D end, or just a shift like safety to corner or something like that.
Yeah. I don't see it. I'm looking up here at my board. I don't see it in the linebacker. We're messing with Zymos a little bit as a safety. Maybe that would help him as a nickel, get him out of the box. But the rest of the guys, the D-line, not really too much change there in the backfield. I'll tell you guys look good for us this offseason. Simeon Blair, he's looked really good. He's doing some real nice things back there, but not really there at the old line. Our plan is to play Shane Clinton a little bit more at center. Try to take a little bit of pressure of the combination of Ty Clary playing guard and center a little bit. Maybe let him develop a little bit better at guard for us. But we've got to find a 2 center, and obviously Ty can do it. But I really would like to find a 2 center that can just sit there and be that guy. So we're going to look at Shane there and see how that works out. I like Crawford, the young transfer. Big old kid that can move, but we haven't changed his positions. We're looking at Mike Woods a little bit more in the slot. We will this spring. Other than that, Trey, really, really not.
Otis.
Well, Coach, you kind of hit on what I was going to ask you. With Noah Gatlin retiring, how much can is Crawford someone that might can help you there at that right tackle spot? I know you got Dalton Wagner, but
Well, yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, we certainly wouldn't have went out to get him if we didn't think that he could be the future. How fast the future is depends on how fast he learns the offense because he's very, very talented. But Dalton, obviously it was a bad, not a bad, sad situation with Noah. He just, the concussions and things of that nature, and we certainly understand that, and we hated for him to have to retire from football, and he hated it, but we're going to get him in here. He's going to help us coach and things of that nature. So certainly understand it, but it was a sad day because he's a really good kid and a good football player.
Tom?
Sam, a couple times you've referenced the leadership with the DB, so I'm assuming that Catalan and maybe Buster Brown are those voices. Could you speak to why that's such a strength in leadership? And then I have one more after that.
I think a little bit of, excuse me, if all of them's coming back, I think that's a little bit of it. I think the way they're coached, they have two coaches back there between the five of them. And I think with Barry being a coordinator, I think they feel a little more comfortable, they're with him all the time of speaking out and sharing his message, but you got, Bishop and Cat and Blair, and I mean, there's a lot of them. I think that's where your battle is really, over there. They're too deep, pretty strong, with Clark and Kyrie Johnson, and they've got Trent Gordon. We've got to figure out where who he's going to challenge and what position. But I think so. But I think more importantly that Barry's in their room, and I think they feel a little bit more comfortable of sharing whatever the message is to the team that day.
Okay, and then on offense, we know Mike Woods has been vocal. Maybe Traylon a little bit, but what about KJ? Do you think he's got the kind of traits to be a great team leader?
Yeah, I mean, I do. Team believes in him, and heck, I believe in him. But he's done a nice job. Again, his work ethic has been leadership in itself, and he's becoming more vocal. He's vocal as he needs to be honest with you. And I'll tell you this: Felipe wasn't a very vocal guy either, but his work ethic was, and that's the same way with KJ.
All right, Hutch, wrap us up.
Yeah, Coach, I know you brought in Crawford, but are you still kind of keeping your eyes open for anyone else in the portal, maybe a pass rusher, or are you happy with your roster as it is right now?
No, yes. I don't know which way to answer the question, but yeah, we're always available for a transfer. I like to build the team through the high school ranks if we can. I think that's good for longevity. Now they have to give you the time, to develop that schematic part of it. But look, we need some help there, and we're certainly looking into the portal at the D line to see if we can't find somebody to come help us. And I know we've talked a lot about a pass rusher, but we need a run stopper in there as well, so we have 3 scholarships we could push forward if need be. And if we find a guy we think come in here and start for us or help us tremendously, then we would give that scholarship to that. But that would be in the D line is where I'm specifically looking at that spot or spots.
And then real quick too, I don't think you mentioned him when you were talking about position changes, but I noticed Coylan Jackson is listed as a tight end now. Do you like that move for him?
He wanted to do it, and I was all happy for him to do it. We haven't really seen enough out of him, to be honest with you, Hutch, to figure it all out yet. He's still injured. He probably won't do much in spring. So he's getting bigger. We said, if you're going to be a tight end, you have to gain some weight. He wanted to do it. I was more than happy to move him over there, but we just haven't seen enough to figure it out yet. He's been kind of hurt ever since I've been here.
All right, that'll wrap us up. Thanks, Coach.